Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about translated parabolas and focus Directrix forms that are not at 0, 0 for the vertex. Alright, the other day we worked with x squared equals 4py and y squared equals 4px, where the vertex was at the origin, 0, 0. Today, what we're going to talk about is graphs or parabolas that are not at 0, 0. So we have these two new forms. Alright, first, for focus Directrix, we're either going to have a horizontal axis of symmetry or we have a vertical axis of symmetry. Okay, the vertex, if we have this for y minus k squared equals 4p times the quantity x minus h is going to be h K. It is going to open from the left or the right. So it's either going to look like this or like this. Its focus is going to be H plus P K. The Directrix is going to be X equals H minus P. The axis of symmetry is going to be y equals k, and the focal width is going to be the absolute value of 4 times p. Now over here, if we have a vertical axis of symmetry, it's going to look like this. X minus h squared equals 4p times the quantity y minus k. The vertex again is going to be hk, but if you guys notice from here, here's my k. On this one, my k is here. And then my h's. So my h's and k's switch when we look at these. Okay? It's very important to notice that. Now this one's going to either open up or down. The focus on this one is going to be h for my x value and k plus p for my y value. My Directrix is going to be y equals k minus p. And the axis of symmetry is going to be x equals h. And the focal width we're going to find the same way. It's going to be the absolute value of 4p. Okay, you are going to want to look back at this set of notes every time you're going to graph your parabola and focus Directrix form that's not at 0, 0. So these two forms. So make sure you keep this handy. Make sure you fill this part out, okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 examples today. So we're going to go through each one of these. First thing we have to do, find our p. To find our p, it's just going to be 4p equals, this is where we're looking for that p right here. Negative 4 divided by 4. P equals negative 1. Now, also where my p's are, I like to find my h and my k. For this one, this right here is my h. And this one here is my k. Now, we always do the opposite of both of these. So the opposite of positive 2 is negative 2. The opposite of negative 1 is 1. Okay, so there's my h and my k. Now, since this one has an x being squared, it's going to open either up or down. Since this was negative, we're going to open down. Our vertex, remember our vertex is going to be at h, k, which is, h is negative 2, k is 1. Our focus is going to be at h, k plus p. So if we do this, our h is negative 2, our k is 1, plus a negative 1. So this for us is going to be negative 2, 0. Now our Directrix, which is our line, is y equals k minus p. So that's going to be negative 1 1 minus a negative 1. This is going to turn into a positive, so it's going to be 2. Our axis of symmetry is going to be x equals h. So for us, that's just going to be x equals negative 2. Our focal width is going to be the absolutely of 4 times p, which is negative 1, which is absolute value of negative 4, which is 4. Alright, and then we'll come back and we'll do our domain and range. Now, start with plotting our vertex, negative 2, 1. We have to label everything, ladies and gentlemen. So label, label, label. So this is at negative 2, 1. Go down the line. Focus is at negative 2, 0. So negative 2, 0, that's going to be right here. That's our focus. Then we're going to have our directrix, which is our line, at y equals 2. So here's y equals 2 right here. Make sure we label it y equals 2. Axis of symmetry, right here where we cut our parabola in half. Axis of symmetry always goes through the vertex and the focus. And it is x equals negative 2. Now, finish it off. We'll do our focal width, which is 4. So I go right here to my focus point is 4. Half of 4 is 2, so I go 2 to the right, and I go 2 to the left. I need to make sure I label these points. So this is at 0, 0. This one here is at negative 4, 0. Connect them with my vertex to create my parabola. Now, last thing, domain and range. Our domain, since it's going up or down, is going to be x such that x equals all real numbers. Our range, we just pick our y value. It's going down, so it's y such that y down means less than or equal to. Our y value is 1. Alright, example number 1 done. Moving on to example number 2. So this one we have y squared. So we're going to open left or right. So first let's find our p. Our p, using this right here, so it's 4p equals negative 4. Divide both sides by 4. P equals negative 1. Now I like to do my h and my k. This one though, remember, this is my k, this is my h. So for this one, my h is going to be the opposite of 5, which is negative 5. And my k is going to be the opposite of negative 1, so it's just 1. Those are my 3 pieces of information that help me figure all this out. Now this is going to open. Since we're working with the y squared, it's going to be, this is negative. We're going to go to the left. Okay. Our vertex for this is hk. So for us, the h is going to be negative 5. The k is 1. There's our vertex. Our focus point on this one, since we're working with the y squared, it's going to be h plus p and k. So our h is negative 5 plus negative 1 and k. So negative 5 plus negative 1, we get negative 6, 1. That's going to be our focus point. Our directrix for this one is x equals h minus p. Our h for this one is negative 5 minus a negative 1. This turns into a positive, equals negative 4. Our axis of symmetry for this one is going to be y equals k. and RK is just 1 this time. Focal width, absolute value of 4p. Absolute value of 4 times negative 1, which is negative 4. Absolute value of negative 4 is 4. Now we have to graph all of this information. So we'll start with our vertex. Our vertex is at negative 5, 1. So it'll be right here. Make sure we label it, okay? So negative 5, 1. Alright, now our focus is at negative 6, 1, so that's right here, negative 6 up 1. Make sure we label that. Sorry guys, it's getting a little tight and a little bit messy. Our directrix is at x equals negative 4, so go to our x, negative 4, straight line here. Make sure we label x equals negative 4. Always our axis of symmetry goes through our vertex and our focus. So we're right here. Now since it's a horizontal line, it's y equals, what are we going through? 1. Now last thing is to use our focal width. So our focal width on this one again is 4. So remember we go to our focus point. It's 4. Half of 4 is 2. So I go 2 down, 2 up. Make sure you label those points. So this point right here is 6, negative 1. This point right here is 6, 3. And now we're going to connect those with our vertex to create our parabola. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, example number 2 is done. Sorry, it's a little squishy. Oh no! Domain and range. Keep forgetting. Domain on this one, x such as x. Since it's moving left or right, we have to change our domain. So since it's moving to the left, it's going to negative numbers. It's going to be less than or equal to, and then whatever our x value is, which is negative 5. Now, for these ones, when they go left to right, our range is always going to be all real numbers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, last example. Here we go. Oh, this one's very similar to the last one because we have a y squared over here on this side. Now, this one looks a little bit different because I don't have a parenthesis on the other side. If we want to add it, we can. We can just make this into a plus 0. This means the exact same thing. Okay? So we have to find our p first. Our p is 4. P equals, this time it's going to be 16. Divide both sides by 4. P equals 4 this time. Now we have to do our H or our K. This is our K. This is our H. So my H just equals 0. And my K equals 2. Alright, this one, since it's a positive, it's going to open to the right. And our vertex, again, you guys, is just HK. So my H is 0, my K is 2. Our focus, remember on these ones, it's H plus P and K. So my H is 0. 0 plus 4, and my K is 2, so my focus is just 4, 2. My directrix is x equals h minus p, which is 0 minus 4, so just negative 4. My axis of symmetry is going to be y equals k, which is just 2. Oh, excuse me, that should be -2. I'm sorry, you guys, we didn't do the opposite. Go back, put that in there, -2. This should be -2, -2. I'm very, very sorry, you guys. Should be the opposite of that, right? So that should be -2. Our focal width is going to be the absolute value of 4 times 4, which is the absolute value of 16, which is just 16. Alright, let's graph this up. Sorry about the mistake earlier, you guys. So we're at 0, -2. So we're going to be right here. Make sure we label that. So I have 0, -2. And then my focus is 4, -2. So 4, -2. There's my focal point. Then my directrix is my line at x equals -4. So go over to -4 on my x-axis. Draw my straight line. X equals -4. Axis of symmetry is always where it goes through my vertex and my focal point. And this one is going to be y equals 2, -2. Having a difficult time with that negative today. Now, last thing we have to do is create our parabola. So we have 16 here. So our whole width is 16, but if I start at my focus point, which is right here, it's half of that. So I need to go half of 16, which is 8. I have to go 8 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that point right here is at 4, 6, and then I have to go at this point, I have to go down 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right here, and we're at 4, -10. Now, connect our vertex with our focus width, and there is our parabola. Now, domain and range, I didn't forget this time. Domain, since it's moving left or right, this is where our domain is going to be different. It's x such that x is going to the right, so it's getting greater than or equal to, and our x value is 0. And now our range is just y such that y equals all real numbers. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will work on these again later. Alright, bye.